Lowvelo brings together many people here in the Low Country to raise money for cancer research at the Hollings Cancer Center at MUSC. Today, I talk one-on-one with the event manager for Lowvelo, Chris Winn, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Chris Winn, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having me, sir.
I appreciate
Happy
it.
Monday morning.
Likewise. Needless to say, you're the event manager for Lowvelo, a cycling event that brings a dedicated group of riders, volunteers, virtual participants, sponsors, and staff members together to raise funds for innovative and life-saving cancer research at the state's only National Cancer Institute designated cancer center, better known as MUSC's Hollings Cancer Center here in Charleston. So, what's new? What's now with Lowvelo?
Well, you summed it up right there, and that was a mouthful. Congratulations, you got that all out. Yeah, Lowvelo this is our 7th year hosting this ride. We've seen it grow every year, both in participation, right, but also in impact. So we're really a grassroots campaign for the research team at Hollings that's working on the next generation of cancer treatment and care. And everybody's got a story. Everybody's been impacted by cancer, right? And this ride we have found to be a pretty fantastic opportunity for people to do something about it. I mean, I'm not a doctor or researcher, and that's better for everybody. But I came to Lowvelo back in 2019 as a rider and as a supporter who'd lost some family to cancer, and it turns out that feels pretty good when you get to help.
Absolutely, absolutely. What is the biggest difference from 7 years ago to right now when you think of Lowvelo?
That's a great question. I think our city has certainly grown. We've got some new members of our community, and it's great to have a way for them to plug in. I know for a fact that the research and some of the experimental treatments, that have come from the research that Lowvelo money has seeded, is certainly making a very real impact in the forms of some clinical trials and being able to generate the data you need to secure grant money from the NIH, right? So this ride in the early years to now has raised just about $3 million, which is fantastic. We're going to try to raise at least another million this year, and about $1.3 million of that's gone into some successful pilot programs that have been very, very impactful in terms of new treatments. And there's all kinds of areas in cancer that we're working on, right? But everything from seeding new glioblastoma research, so a more recent focus, to CAR T therapy, which is, if you're familiar with immunotherapy, if you've ever heard that term, some really amazing progress getting made in that field.
Oh, yes, and I know all about cancer myself because my mom survived breast cancer through the grace of God many years ago. Yeah, yes, indeed. So
Awesome.
yes, indeed, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about that, right? Like
Yes, sir.
the things that we were scared about. I mean, cancer is scary, right? And one of the things I love about this ride is it's not the first. You don't have to wait till you're sick or you're diagnosed to learn about the cancer center, to know where it is, to know what they're doing, right? And when you get that diagnosis, that's pretty scary, but you're not alone. There's other people that have gone through it, right? And this ride's really a neat place where you've got researchers and doctors and nurses and patients and family members, like all on the same street.
Yeah.
And this thing feels much more like a rolling support group than just an average group ride. But the care that a cancer, breast cancer patient or any cancer patient can get now compared to 20 years ago, right? We've made leaps and bounds as a whole, and we're pretty excited about what that can look like for patients 20 years from now. I'm glad that she got it, but if we can have conversations about cancer or a cancer diagnosis, right, that's breaking down barriers for people to go get checked out.
Absolutely. What other barriers do you want to break with Lowvelo this year?
Well, we certainly we had a big ride last year. We'd love to break a new attendance and participation record. But I mean, more so than that, we definitely want to set a new fundraising record, because that's where you know, forgive the pun, but the rubber meets the road, right? We have a chance to really make an impact and continue, especially, in current times where, the federal funding is not as guaranteed as it was. So we want to make sure that we can continue to fund these clinical trials and some of these projects, because that's where the advancements are happening.
And how many projects do you all want to fund this year with the money from Lowvelo?
Oh, that's a great question, and I don't know that I have the answer to that. I think the projects can vary in size and scale, but I think, again, the goal is if we can raise over $1 million for this year's ride, we'll be in good shape. And while the ride is November 1st, anybody who rides, the fundraising is open until December 31st, right? So we really have a year-long fundraiser each year under the banner of Lowvelo that has a couple of special events and parties and a big bike ride in the middle.
And hopefully, God willing, the weather will be ideal for this year's bike ride.
If we can get a little bit of what's happening outside right now, it's
Right.
going to be an amazing day. It would
Oh,
be an
absolutely.
amazing day. So everybody, find something wood to knock on,
Right.
and let's hope that Mother Nature gives us her blessing.
Yes, I'm believing God for good weather for you all.
Yes, sir.
Now, how many cancer survivors will actually participate in this event?
Oh, that's a great question. I think some of them are still signing up, right? But
Mm,
last year, just a hair under 10% of our riders were either identified as being a survivor or being a current patient. So that might be upwards of 150.
yeah,
We do have a special designation for those riders, right?
yes, sir.
So MUSC's colors are always blue, shades of blue, but the we have a little accent color. It looks like a hot coral or watermelon sugar, and the anybody who's identified as a patient or a survivor will get that color T-shirt or a jersey. So anybody riding alongside them will be able to clearly see who out there's been directly affected, and it's a good reminder of why we're all out there together.
Oh, absolutely. Why is low bellow considered a lifestyle versus just an event, 1 day event?
That's a great question. So people think about hospitals, right? And you think about doctors, you think about medicine, you think about surgery, right? But wellness is a part of modern healthcare, and there's plenty of good data out there to talk about how health and being healthy, being well, taking care of yourself, regular exercise,
Sure.
those are all good things to make you more resilient in the case that you're sick. And if you are being treated for cancer, right? I mean, we've got survivor fit clubs that are working on rebuilding your body. It's a way to make sure you're resilient through your treatment and after the fact. So we have smaller training rides and little events, right? But really, we want to kind of preach about, like, getting on a bike and moving around is pretty approachable. Most folks have learned how to do that at some point in their lives, and thankfully, it's just like riding a bike. All you got to do is get on and go, and it's a lovely way to be a part of your community, and it's an easy way to stay healthy.
Healthy. And so, Chris, how can somebody go about actually signing up right now if they haven't had a chance to?
Man, we would love to have you sign up if you haven't had a chance yet, right? So you can go to our website, lowvelo.org. There is a ton of information on that site if you want to explore patient stories from our researchers. The routes are all posted, but really you can register, you could volunteer. At the very least, we'd love you to make a donation. Every little bit helps. We'll take it. But go to that website. It's really the hub, and we'd love for you to find a way to get plugged in to this ride if you've been impacted by cancer.
And you talk about the route. I'm probably sitting a couple of blocks away from Colonial Lake. Is that still in play?
It is. It is. It's funny. We've got rides for everybody. So one of the myths about Lowvelo is that it's a race, and
Hmm.
it is not that. It is just a ride.
Yeah,
And there's distances that are designed for all abilities, right? So you can do a spin class on Isle of Palms. You can do a 7 or 14 mile ride on Isle of Palms and Sullivan's Island. And then there are some longer routes that are 24, 50, and 80 miles. Those start downtown at Brittlebank Park. They do have a lovely police escort that we get to ride by the cancer center. We get to ride by Colonial Lake. We get to ride down Broad Street,
sure.
and then it's the only day of the year where they let bicycles on the Ravenel Bridge. So we have a lane
Ah,
closure. We get an escort over the Ravenel heading towards Mount Pleasant. And that's a pretty neat moment. There's definitely some great photos out there from last year of catching the sunrise as you're coming up over the hill, and that right there makes the experience worth it.
Oh, absolutely. And Chris, I hate to divert off to the main issue, but let's talk about the future of Lowvelo. Would you, I'm a runner. I'm a big runner along with doing
Sure.
bicycling. But would you all include some sort of 5K race into this one day?
We might be willing to do that. We'd probably do it on another day just to keep the ride. I mean, there's only so much we can contain and keep
Right.
everybody as safe as we want to, right? But I mean, I do think it'd be neat. There are some 5Ks and some walks out there for different types of cancer research that we participate, and they raise money for the Hollings Cancer Center. And there's also Swim Across America, which is a fantastic swimming event to raise money and awareness for cancer, right? So I'd love in the short future to have a special trophy for folks to do the run and the swim and the bike ride. And I mean, if you're a triathlete in all of these cancer benefiting events, you definitely deserve a gold star.
Absolutely. You're right about that. You're right about that. Well, Chris Winn with Lowvelo, thank you so much for your time again. Welcome to
Quintin,
Quintin's Close-Ups.
thank you so much for having us, sir. I hope we see you out there on November 1st.
Yeah, I'll be cheering you on.
Cheer us on. Yeah.